All right, greetings and welcome everyone to the Networking Masterclass for December. I'm your host, Dave Potter, and before we get started, I'll just cover a few items of housekeeping if you're new to the platform or to the webinar in general. So first of all, you should be hearing audio at this point. If for some reason you're not hearing me or if my voice is not coming through clearly, you may want to try changing between computer audio or a phone call in your GoToWebinar control panel. For some reason, I sometimes have a better experience on a phone call depending on where I am, and other times computer audio works better. So you may have a better experience. If you're having trouble, just try switching from one source to the other, whichever provides the best experience for you today. Next up, so this webinar is live, and we invite you to always post your questions in the control panel under the Q&A, and we will try to get back to you as we cover the content from today. And if for any reason we cannot get back to you during the webinar, we invite you to email us at networkingmasterclass@citrix.com. We'll also be using the Q&A panel to take your feedback, as well as any other content or ideas that you have today. So we always love your suggestions. If there's something that a presenter is going into and you'd like a little more detail, we'll either try to cover it live on the webinar verbally, or we'll try to get back to your question in the panel on the webinar. And if any reason we cannot do that, again, you're welcome to email us at networkingmasterclass@citrix.com. Now, finally, the session is being recorded. So if you need to step away, or perhaps you'd just like to review some of the content after the webinar, or maybe you'd like to share it with a friend or a colleague, rest assured that we will be sending a link to you after the webinar so that you can watch it again if you'd like to. So if you need to take a break or step away or take another call and you want to come back and hear or revisit some of the content, then your link will be sent out in an email to you following the webinar so that you can replay the content from today. All right, so who's with us today? I'm your host, Dave Potter. I'm a solutions architect in the networking, product marketing, and product management team at Citrix. And joining us today are guest presenters Akshay, Ravi, Reshma, and Abhishek. And we have some pretty good topics to you. We have quite a diverse set of content. Normally we focus on one type of product and go deep on it. And today we're actually covering two different products in detail. So the agenda for today, kicking things off, will be our 101, which is going to be Abhishek covering Citrix ADC updates and what we're doing newest and greatest in version 13 on the Citrix ADC. And then following Abhishek, we will go into our spotlight, where our fantastic SD-WAN team will be talking about the convergence of the technology and what we're doing with edge security. And then to round things out, I will be covering what's new, what's happening, what are some of the new highlights that have happened since our previous webinar, as well as give a hint as to our next masterclass topic. At the end of the news and views, I will then be asking a question. So we will have a prize giveaway at the end of the webinar. It's just our way of saying thank you for hanging out with us and participating with us. So I will be asking a question at the end of the webinar today, and the first person to have the answer for me will win the prize. Speaking of which, the prize today is some fantastic Citrix swag. So if you win the prize today, I'll be asking a question from the content, and we'll be happy to send you some great swag. It'll be a really nice, high quality hoodie, a nice water bottle, and a notebook. Now, there's a little bit of a catch here. You need to have a residence within the US or Canada in order to receive the prize, as we're not allowed to mail this very far internationally. So I invite you to hang out with us, participate, ask questions, and I will be raising a question from some of the content today. It could be from the first section or the second section, and whoever has the answer for us will be eligible to win the prize. Finally, I did mention we'd love to get your content, or your ideas, thoughts, and topics. So if you would like to see something in the future, maybe something that you'd like to go in depth on for SD-WAN or with the ADC, or perhaps maybe it's a vertical or something that you'd like for us to cover more of what your organization is going into or looking at, we invite you to mention some of the ideas that what are you interested in? What would you like to see more of? We invite you to submit any topic requests for future webinars in the Q&A tab. And oh, by the way, the topics for today were actually submitted in previous webinar sessions. So these are not just random topics that we come up with and think up in the product management team, but these are topics that are actually submitted by you, our audience. So we love giving you exactly what we see and are being asked for. And also we invite you, if you think of something later on, perhaps after the webinar that you'd like for us to consider, I invite you to email us at networkingmasterclass@citrix.com. All right, so kicking things off is our first section, the 101, all about ADC software and its updates. And with that, I'd like to bring on our first presenter, Abhishek, to cover the content. Abhishek, are you with us?
Yeah, Dave, thank you very much.
All right, I can hear you.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and make you the presenter.
Thank you. So hello everyone, my name is Abhishek and I'm part of Citrix ADC product management team, and I'm mainly responsible for software side of ADC. Now in this session, I'm going to provide an update on recent ADC enhancements. We have released some of very interesting features which are part of our latest 13.0 release, which is 71.40, and build is already out last week on December 4th. So I'm going to cover some of the new features in much more detail for better understanding. Right. So here's the first thing. Citrix ADC now supports TLS-1.3 front-end offload on hardware. And we are one of the first vendor to bring this production-grade support out in the market. Now here is the list of hardwares which will have this support. These hardwares are with Intel Coleto-based chipsets. So you can see that TLS-1.3 hardware support is available in our low-end, mid, as well as high-end platforms. And it covers both our MPX as well as SDX. Support is also available in all development modes, deployment modes, whether it is an HA or a cluster. Software support for TLS-1.3 we have released some 2 years back, and those will continue to be available in all the other hardwares where we don't support hardware offload. So this is one of the major enhancements which came out as part of this release. Now, why TLS-1.3? So one of the main reasons why TLS-1.3 is here and also why it's preferred over earlier version of TLS is all because of the security. The architecture of previous TLS versions were old, and we have seen many attacks on TLS protocol at different levels, at different handshake levels, at different arguments in the handshake. So, for example, we had seen Poodle attack, we have seen Heartbleed, Beast, and many others major attack on the TLS and SSL protocol stack. Now, considering all this, TLS-1.3 is a completely revamp of old TLS flow. And again, as I said, security is a prime goal here. So TLS-1.3 brings many changes to original flow. For example, the handshake messages after server hello are completely encrypted now. Here we have a zero RTT mode, which will save a complete round trip. The static RSA, static Diffie-Hellman cipher suits have been completely removed, and this will bring the perfect forward secrecy to this protocol. And many other changes are also done, like key derivation functions has been completely redesigned. So this is a complete revamp. And if you see the adoption, so this protocol is released almost 3 years back now, and Citrix ADC supports since 2017 in software, and adoption has also increased. So if you see for all the browsers, it's close to 25 to 30% of traffic is now TLS 1.3. Okay, so as I said, this hardware TLS 1.3 support we have provided in Coleto, Intel Coleto based chips. So here is a quick reason why Coleto is preferred. ADC also support Cavium based hardwares as well. So the advantage is the Coleto chips is much faster. When it comes to the RSA, you can see it is almost 2 times, and ECDHE, which is like more secure, and we see a higher adoption these days because of the security things. It is almost 7x times faster. And the other thing to note is TLS 1.3 RSA exchange is deprecated, so it's all ECC. So it's always preferred to have Intel Coleto based chipset over Cavium. Coming to the performance of TLS 1.3 compared to TLS 1.2, so it's on par with TLS 1.2. So on the top side you see it's a TPS test, and the TPS is almost is exactly the same, though you may see an increase in CPU with TLS 1.3, and that is understood, that is expected because of a lot other operations in TLS 1.3 for the security reasons, and those things are expected. And when it comes to the throughput, it is exactly matched with TLS 1.2. So, and even there is no change in the CPU numbers. So this is all about TLS 1.3 hardware support. Now we'll take a pause for a poll question here.
Sure, I'll go ahead and bring that up. So we'd like to run a quick poll before everyone, before we get too deep into this. So I'd like to run a quick poll, and the question is, do you see your organization needing to refresh your hardware to obtain not only better performance, but also security with TLS 1.3? And so we're looking for either yes, you definitely are planning to do that transition, or perhaps maybe you are going to do it, but you don't need all the performance of hardware and you're looking to do it just in software. Or maybe TLS 1.2, 1.0 is acceptable for perhaps your internal apps or the way that you're using the security feature today. We're interested to know that. And then finally, if you're already on the latest hardware and you've already made that upgrade, fantastic. We'd love to hear that as well. So we're getting just about 30% of you have already voted. Would like to just see if we could get a few more votes in before I close things out. We'll just go just a couple more seconds here. So if you have not yet had a chance to vote, I encourage you to go ahead and do so, just to let us know a little bit more about kind of where you are. Are you looking to do this transition? Have you already done it? Is performance an important factor for you? All right, so it looks like we have just about half of you have voted. So I'll go ahead and close the poll and share it out. And with that, it looks like many of you will do the transition to TLS 1.3, but have not yet quite done that. And it looks like even more of you are looking to do it, but you don't really see the need for the high performance of hardware with 1.3. So that is very interesting feedback for us, because one of the big things that we've noticed with TLS 1.3 is that although we've accelerated our adoption with the software approach, we find that a lot of people are wanting just to go to it completely. So this is very good news and feedback for us. All right, with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Abhishek, to continue.
Yeah, thank you, Dave.
Good.
Okay.
Take it away.
Yeah. So I will move to the next enhancement, which is again part of our latest 13.0 release, and this is on the MQTT protocol support. So MQTT is a simple message-based protocol, and this protocol is designed as a very lightweight protocol. It uses a simple publish subscribe operations to exchange the data between client and the servers. And since it is very lightweight, it is designed for devices with a very low bandwidth and processing power. and that's the one of the main reason it's perfectly fit for the different IoT-based applications. And it is the most common protocol used in the IoT projects and across the verticals. It's smart home, smart city, transportation, manufacturing. It is the most common protocol used wherever there is an IoT project. Now in ADC, we have released this protocol natively as part of recent 13.0 release. Now earlier, to some extent, we used to achieve this MQTT capabilities via our Lua framework. Though the Lua was not robust enough, it was not that flexible. And since we are seeing the adaptability of this protocol in IoT communication, we have provided a full native support. So with full native support, it will have all the functionalities very much equivalent to HTTP, and even in terms of performance, it will be on par with HTTP protocol. So these are the quick features of the MQTT. With this support, we will have a capability to segregate the traffic based on the MQTT messages. We can filter MQTT messages, like we can have a whitelist, blacklist, so we can allow, disallow certain MQTT clients, and also all those set of policies we can create and define. We can have a policies to the selective logging. And then if you have different brokers and you wanted to maintain the persistency so that the client can come and connect to the same broker, all those functionality is possible. Also, the monitoring, the brokers monitoring will be completely MQTT aware with our solution. It's just not the TCP monitoring. We will have a full-fledged protocol aware monitoring, which is supported now. Also, SSL and TLS is supported. You can have MQTT SSL type protocol vServer, and the request will be offloaded, and then MQTT messages can be passed. So all these functionalities are available, and of course, all the different actions provisions are there. We can have reset, logging, responder. We can do many things with this protocol. So this is again one of the major functionality which went as part of the latest release. All right, so moving to next is Request-Retry, and it's again a very useful feature. We already provided support for this functionality in early this year with initial use case of reset. So when a backend server resets a TCP connection for any reasons, so for any faulty reasons, so once the request retry feature is enabled, it forwards the request to the next available server instead of forwarding it to the client and then making client to reconnect again. All happens on the ADC itself. So by doing VLB and selecting a next available server at ADC, we can save a complete hop. Now, with latest release, we have extended this feature for timeout as well. So with this release, we will have a new parameter where you can define a timeout. So if the backend server is not responding in that many milliseconds, a RELB will trigger and a next available best server will be selected. So the option timeout option is available from 30 milliseconds to 2000 milliseconds. So this is a quick flow how the functionality works. So you can see that client is sending a request, and it is landing to ADC, and ADC did a load balancing, and it selected service 1. But for some reason, we saw a reset or timeout from service 1. Then the ADC selected service 2. Again, the same thing happened, and finally a service 3 is selected, which responded with 200 OK, and this 200 OK is the only thing which is passed to the client rather than the other resets. So again, very useful feature. Okay, so the next is with this release, we are showing the CPU usage per app. or the per VIP. So earlier we will be showing we are showing the consolidated CPU usage of a device. Now we can segregate it based on per vServer. So again, very useful feature. And this CPU utilization per app is shown in parts per thousand. So for example, you have 500. It is showing as a 500. That means it's a 50% CPU utilization. So in the example below, you see that for the vServer test, the CPU usage is showing as 16. And that implies that 1.6% of CPU is used overall by uh, this vServer. And this feature is extended to ADM as well. So with that, you can have you can create a threshold, you can generate events, you can take actions based on the CPU utilizations, or a bunch of functionality we can do. Okay, so coming to right. So next is a subject alternative name. So this is being asked by many of our customers that though we support SAN, now SAN is a subject alternative name and it allows you to secure a combination of domain names, subdomains of your applications. So we were not displaying the SAN entries on in a particular certificate whenever you trigger a show SSL cert key command, or when you go to the configuration utility and open the certificate, this field was not displayed. So now with this release, we are displaying it in both the UI and on the CLI, so that you can have a clear visibility of your certificate, what different domains and subdomains it is supporting. Okay, so and the last one I want to highlight is on the support for larger HTTP header size. So HTTP header lets the client and the server pass additional information with an HTTP request. Now, as we are moving more and more towards the automation, where different kind of applications, they are talking to each other to provide a kind of solution, and more informations are now embedded in the HTTP headers and passed to application for making a right call, or for the better understanding, or even for the different routing procedures. So the size matters here, and so far we were supporting HTTP header size of 64 KB. Considering the modern use cases, we have extended it to 128 KB now. So with this, uh, these are the updates on the ADC side. So any questions?
Things look pretty good in the Q&A panel. I think one question that came up that was interesting, Abhishek, is if somebody were to run, say, a VPX on a platform with GPUs, would the GPUs be able to give any kind of performance boost to the VPX?
I need to check on that. I don't have answer ready for this, but
Okay.
I can check and get.
Sure. Yeah, I think we're certain that it would improve the performance for virtual desktop clients, but for TLS, I do not. We'll have to confirm whether the offloading could be handled by the GPU. So awesome question. So thanks for asking that, and we'll try to get down on that in a little bit. All right. So thanks so much for the real quick primer, Abhishek, on what's new in 13.0. I like that the TLS updates are there and the performance numbers, so that's very robust. And it looks like from the Q&A and chat panel that other overall people really appreciated that level of detail as well. So thanks so much. So with that, I'd like
Thank
to
you.
now switch gears and go into our spotlight topic, which is all about the convergence of SD-WAN and edge security. So with that, I'd like to bring on our next group of presenters, Akshay, Reshma, and Ravi, and start off the session there. So with that, I'd like to bring on, I believe it's Akshay, you're first up for us today. So Akshay,
Absolutely.
can we go ahead
Yep.
and bring you off mute? And can you go ahead and make yourself the presenter?
Can you pass me control
Yeah,
really
I can
quickly?
do that for you. 1 second. So I'll try it again. I'm not getting the pop-up for that. I see Abhishek is still there. Perhaps Abhishek, would you be able to pass control to Akshay? Oh, it looks like
There you
it's
go. I got it.
switched over. Good. And I can see your screen. Take it away.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Hey, so Abhishek, thank you for that overview. Dave, thanks for the introduction. Folks, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We realize your time is valuable, and we'll try and keep this short and crisp. So there's three of us that'll be talking to you today. I'm starting off the presentation, and then that will quickly lead into Reshma's part. Reshma drives the convergence of edge security and SD-WAN within Citrix. And then Ravi is a solutions architect, and he goes really under the hood to discuss how the solution works, and he'll actually demonstrate the product to you in the later part of this session. So let's get a few of the initial market trends out of the way first, because we wanted to understand as we are going out and building this particular product, we are noticing that a lot of the customers that we speak to, a lot of you guys that we speak to, there is a certain set of functionality that we often hear as this is what you people are looking for, and we've also been validating that against what the analysts have been saying. So there is a certain set of trends, and then those trends translate into use cases. So we'll quickly talk about those. Then we'll identify exactly what type of security suits your needs best. And then we'll go into our edge security solution, which is Citrix SD-WAN Advanced Edition. At a very high level, there are three macro trends that we've been seeing, and I'm sure all of you are aware of these. But then these macro trends have certain challenges associated with them. So as applications move to cloud and SaaS, there is the need to replace traditional hub and spoke data center focused architectures with more of a direct internet access or a local internet breakout model. So essentially, you can't keep sending all traffic back to the data center before you send it to SaaS, because that adds latency. So that backhaul architecture or that hairpin architecture needs to be replaced with a more local internet breakout architecture, which gives you faster application performance. Today, most of us are working from home, but as we are working from home, we are not necessarily sitting behind the enterprise firewall. And if we are not sitting behind the firewall, what do we have in terms of protection against ransomware and new malware that's coming out? So we need a solution that protects us no matter where we are, especially in our home offices. And VPNs, we realize VPNs were great once upon a time, but there are certain challenges associated with VPNs. For instance, if we get infected with malware, VPN actually allows the lateral movement of that malware within the enterprise. And so there needs to be a solution for that, an identity-aware, zero trust application segmentation type of a solution. And then lastly, we know that threats are evolving rapidly. There is a lot more threats. Those threats are increasingly hidden in SSL and TLS. And these threats are also often signatureless. So the traditional signature-based security methods, they're good, but firstly, they have to be automatically updated. And secondly, your traditional security needs to be supplemented with more behavioral analytics so that you can identify signature-less threats too. So essentially what we're saying is that, listen, your security that was there earlier was great. It was designed for 10 years ago. For today's requirements, security networking needs to change to enable today's use cases. And so just if we dive in, some of the key use cases that we're seeing is that we need to secure the remote workers. We need to provide identity-aware security. So today, if Dave Potter is sitting in Santa Clara, hypothetically, and tomorrow if he travels to Singapore, he needs Dave Potter still needs that consistent level of security no matter where he goes. But if it is any atypical behavior, if he was not supposed to travel to a certain country and suddenly we find his device in that country, how is that access level supposed to change? Are we inspecting all traffic, including the encrypted traffic? And are we protecting against all threats? And are we doing all this in a way that's scalable for you, that's easy for you, that doesn't force you to spend nights and weekends in the security operations center or the network operations center? And are we at the same time providing consistent and fast application performance to the digital workspace along with proper compliance requirements being met and visibility being provided to you. So challenges are different today. They're more diverse, they're more lethal, and they need to be solved. But at this time, this is what the perspective that we have been seeing. I'd love to hear from you people as well. So Dave, can we launch the first question around the primary challenges that the audience is facing today?
Sure, I'll go ahead and bring that up. So let's go on a quick poll just to get a pulse for our audience. So what is you, our primary audience and attendees today, what are your primary challenges? So are you looking to just enable remote work and do you need it to be secure and fast? Or are you looking to simplify your security and networking portfolio or features? Or are you looking to actually do a replacement of your VPN and replace it with something like zero trust network access? Or are you looking to do something else entirely? You can choose one or more of these options, as we realize probably more than one applies in your situation. And it looks like we have just about 30% of you that have voted. So I'll just pause for just a few seconds to see if we can get a few more votes to come in. Just like to see, where are you at in terms of your primary challenges today when it comes to security and enabling remote work? All right, so we're just about past the 1 minute mark, and it looks like just over 50% of you have voted. So I'm going to go ahead and close out the poll, and it looks like, yes, many of you are looking to, your biggest challenge continues to be enabling remote workers with secure and fast connectivity, followed just right around, just next up is, being able to do it by simplifying your security and the ability to extend the networking to those users. And then a good amount of you, a third of you, is still looking to replace the VPN and zero trust network access appliances and policies. And then a few of you are just not quite, have different challenges today. So awesome, so fantastic. Thanks so much for providing your feedback, and we'll go ahead and jump back into the presentation. Akshay.
Thank you so much. And thank you, folks, for that feedback. That's aligned with what we've been seeing in the market as well. And so let's diving into actually another double click, if you will, into this conversation that we are having. In this particular slide, we'll discuss 3 types of architecture. The ratings that you see, so you'll see some stars up top, user experience rating and ops complexity rating. This is our ratings. It's not official. It's just a way of conveying as to what you would likely see. It's not an industry standard rating. But essentially, if you've got a hub and spoke architecture where all data is tromboned or hairpinned or backhauled into the data center, as I said, you're going to have that latency, that added latency because of the sending traffic into the data center. And that's going to worsen application performance. But it's also just a traditional data center-based architecture is a lot more complex to manage, usually fragmented levels of security. You usually have multiple security layers that are service chained together versus a more seamless architecture. So there are a whole lot of challenges from a user experience perspective as well as an operational perspective in managing the hub and spoke architecture. And so a solution to that tends to be that, okay, you essentially replace the security stack in the data center with either a security cloud or edge security. And by edge security, what I'm saying is you take the security stack and you distribute it across your branch locations. And that's great in the sense that it does not require the backhaul architecture anymore. So it's local internet breakouts into the cloud, which means your latency is reduced, application performance improves. But at the same time, keep in mind that we are assuming in here that you're not using SD-WAN. And if you're not using SD-WAN, you're still dependent on you're at the mercy of the internet to be able to get that application performance. And you don't want that. You want to be able to prioritize certain applications. So you should be able to prioritize the digital workspace as compared to Netflix that your son or your daughter might be watching while you're trying to work. So you want that application prioritization, and you also want to be able to simplify your networking and security architectures. And for that, what we really suggest, and this is aligned with research that major analysts such as Gartner have come out with, what's suggested is that you have a distributed security model, which can be cloud delivered or edge delivered, that is actually unified with your SD-WAN solution. And when I say unified, I mean unified under the hood versus just bringing the administration consoles, giving some sort of a loose integration between administration consoles. What we're saying is that you want to be able to have automated connectivity with built-in resiliency between your networking and your security. You definitely want that single pane of glass management, not just from a visibility perspective, but also from a policy definition perspective. You want automated updates happening within your security solution. And so this is what this will enable you to do, is have that very distributed, easy to manage security model, as well as a networking model that delivers high application performance for your users, whether they are at home or whether they're in the office, as well as at the same time making things simple for you. And again, because you're using SD-WAN, you're not at the mercy of the internet. You can actually control and prioritize applications. You have application optimization. If you're using Citrix Digital Workspace, Citrix provides some pretty cool optimization capabilities for that as well. So what we are essentially saying is you want that unified architecture with SD-WAN and security. And to deliver those capabilities, Citrix offers you multiple options. So Citrix can offer you the edge security model, which is Citrix SD-WAN Advanced Edition. So you have the SD-WAN capabilities and you couple that with security capabilities on the same box. That's what Reshma is going to talk about in the upcoming slides. The other option is Citrix Secure Internet Access. So Citrix SD-WAN couples with a cloud-delivered security solution that we announced earlier a few months ago, which is essentially our cloud-delivered security solution. So we have that option as well in case that's what you prefer. But let's just say you have some existing security vendors. Let's just say you're using a certain security vendor for the last 2 years. You have a couple of more years on that box and you want to sweat it out. That's totally fine as well. We have designed our solutions to be able to integrate with third-party vendors. You sweat out those third-party vendors, get the investment that you expected from them, and 2 years later, or whenever you're ready, you can switch those out with Citrix services and have that unified solution between networking and security. So Citrix is basically committed, that's what I'm trying to say, is that we're committed to delivering that unified architecture that simplifies life for you while delivering a great user experience for all your workers, wherever they are. I think there's a competitive advantage, if you will, that we have out here. There's a significant benefit that you also get out of it, which is that today Citrix supports 100 million users across the globe, across 100 countries with the Workspace application. And so we are essentially able to give you a streamlined experience on your endpoint device with the Workspace. We are able to virtualize some of our applications that sit in the cloud, but we also offer that full security and networking stack that's in the middle and that's connecting the two. And so it's a unified solution. Because it's a unified solution, it's like, for instance, you might have an iPhone that couples with an iPad and with a Mac. So you have that same seamless experience no matter what device you're going across. That's very different from trying to couple, say, a Windows device with Android and another Apple device. It's just that when you have a consistency of OS, it's a lot simpler. And then the question comes that, okay, if you're trying to actually choose between edge security and cloud security, as I mentioned, we offer both. How should you choose between them? And there are multiple situations in which you would prefer to have one over the other. And personally, I would recommend that you reach out to a Citrix technical architect, a solutions architect, and they'll be able to have that conversation with you. But some example situations are that, let's just say you're trying to roll out cloud services, but you are part of, say, a financial organization or a government organization where you have a phased timeline that you need to abide by. Perhaps you'll be rolling on cloud services a year from now. So if you want that seamless transition a year from now, but you need to replace some of your appliances today, you can launch with Citrix so that a year from now, that transition is going to be a little smoother for you. You might have some data sovereignty concerns in which you want your data to reside in a certain set of countries. And because of that, you might be a little hesitant in terms of adopting cloud-delivered solutions. That's fine as well. In those cases, we should be able to support you now as well as later. And then number 2 and number 3 on this particular slide are essentially for this office in a box kind of functionality, where let's just say you're part of a company that supports mining services or construction services, where you need to provide an office in a box where your employees can essentially take that appliance, that SD-WAN appliance with security that's built into it, and they can take that appliance wherever they go, and they get that basic level of security, and they get that high performance connectivity wherever they go. So in those situations, you have the SD-WAN Advanced Edition that's totally going to support you. It's a zero-touch box, so it's very easy to manage. It makes your life simple. It makes it easy for the employees you're supporting as well. So again, this was a pretty high level. I was just trying to lay the groundwork and set the stage for Reshma, who's going to take it away from here. But before Reshma comes on, we want to hear from you as well. In terms of this pandemic, and I hope everybody's keeping safe. But in terms of this pandemic, Dave, if you could launch the question, how has your organization evolved in this pandemic, and how they work? We'd love to hear from you, and how you are beginning to evolve your organizations and support your organizations in the coming weeks and months.
Yeah, so it looks like we're getting some pretty impressive feedback here, and it looks like it's continuing to be very relevant. So it looks like we have just about 30% of you voting. We'll keep the poll open for just a little bit longer to give everyone a chance to provide their feedback. So are you looking, are you going to be, has your business decided to go completely remote forever, which is always an interesting idea because that's a huge shift? Or are you temporarily there and looking to get back in the office as soon as you can? Or do you think you're going to adopt more of a hybrid approach, which is basically flexible with remote and local offices at some point in the future, and then perhaps maybe you haven't really considered that yet, or it's not relevant. So we invite you to choose one of those options for you. So with that, it looks like we have just over half having voted. So I'm going to go ahead and close out the poll, and it should be no surprise, a huge big shift in functionality here. It looks like with many of you planning to offer both flexible hybrid approach here, offering both remote and local office services in the future, with right up next being, it's remote now, you're handling the surge, but you're planning to get back in the office as soon as you can. Awesome. So with that, back to you, Akshay.
Thank you so much, Dave. The next few slides will be covered by Reshma. And let me try and pass control over to her. Or if you can do that on your end, that would be awesome.
Sure. Reshma, I'm going to go ahead and make you the presenter.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Akshay. First of all, thank you, Akshay, for covering the various challenges that we are seeing in the current times with the evolution of IT to a more distributed as well as hybrid architectures, as we just saw in the poll as well, right? Many organizations are shifting towards hybrid architecture, and with that, the flexibility that Citrix offers in terms of securing your on-premise as well as remote workers is amazing. So that's what Akshay mentioned a little bit earlier as well. And today I want to dig a little bit deeper into the new on-prem edge security, integrated edge security solution that we have released as a part of our SD-WAN service. So this new service that—
Reshma, before you get started, could we have you go into full screen?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
You got it. Awesome.
Sorry about that. All right. So we have newly released an integrated edge security solution that brings next generation firewall capabilities like IDS, IPS, web filtering, and malware protection, along with the existing SD-WAN advantages to your organization. What this does is really that it acts as a shield that is operating at the edge of your branch to guard the entire connected enterprise against security attacks and breaches that could originate from compromised internet connections and applications because of the direct internet access that you might have used. With the integrated edge security solution, you can completely adopt a local internet breakout to help you have a more optimized application experience for your SaaS and cloud traffic without having to backhaul everything to the data center, but still have the same amount of security for your data. And all of this, the data that is we have, we monitor both ingress and egress data, and we prevent lateral movement of thread from one branch to another easily. And all of this is managed from our cloud-based provisioning and management solution called as the Citrix SD-WAN Orchestrator that will enable you to centrally manage and monitor your users, permissions, applications, your networking, and your security policies. It really provides you with the control and the visibility across your entire network. You can quickly and easily deploy new sites on your network with the zero-touch deployment and automate the setup of all your cloud services and security through our orchestrator quite easily. It provides you with a single pane of glass management for both SD-WAN and the integrated edge security stack from a central location, so that your IT department can just focus on the application experience and performance without having to compromise on the security and ease of use. Now, to dig a little bit deeper into the edge security functionalities, right? We have web filtering, IDS, IPS, malware protection, and SSL inspection embedded into the edge security stack along with our SD-WAN stack. So with web filtering, simply put, it helps to ensure web and content security across your network by restricting what web content or URLs your users can access. It's a really fast and easy and effective way to not only mitigate malware and phishing attacks, but also helps you ensure that the users are not abusing your network policies. Our URL filtering database can classify more than 32 billion URLs across 79 categories in more than 45 languages. So you can quickly and easily set up policies to block any categories of content that you want to block, like for example, adult content or gaming, videos, or social networks. You just have to create the policies to block the certain category, and you can easily control any undesirable or inappropriate content from being accessed from your network. And we also have the ability to monitor and control searches and enforce safe searches across the popular search engines like Google and YouTube or Bing and Yahoo as well. Moving on to IDS and IPS, the intrusion detection and prevention system basically inspects any malicious activity on your network and blocks any hacking attempts before it reaches your internal servers and desktops. We have a signature-based IDS system, which means that it detects all possible threats by looking for specific patterns such as byte sequences in your networks or any malicious instruction sequences that is used by malware, and it matches it with a database of known attack patterns. And we have our own heuristics as well, which will help us detect more than 3,400 signatures and will help you effectively monitor and block any suspicious request. And the best part is that all the signatures are automatically updated, so you always have the most updated and secure network at your disposal. Next is malware protection. So modern malware really threats are usually targeted for your servers, appliances, laptops, tablets, and even mobile phones, right? And in the current day, with a lot of users going and adopting bring your own device model, you may struggle with this more because you don't have control over these devices. They can connect offsite to an unsecure network and then return to your network with malware on board. This is where you absolutely need a first line of defense. with our malware protection solution, you can identify and block any zero-day threats, viruses, worms, Trojan horses, botnets, or any other known malware and infections. And it also protects you against the whole range of internet traffic like HTTP, FTP, and SMTP as well. And we leverage the one of the most popular and well-known industry standard for malware signatures by Bitdefender. So even this is completely automated. The signatures are updated automatically, so you don't have to worry about scheduling the updates or worrying about any new attack patterns that you weren't aware of. Next is SSL inspection. We know that 70% of our internet traffic is encrypted, and this helps us to kind of protect the data and private information, keep our information private and secure, right? But that encryption does not necessarily mean your content is safe. Threat research actually shows us that 68% of the malware uses encryption to hide in the network, and more than 1/3 of the malware uses encryption to access and infect targets. So we cannot just inherently trust SSL traffic. And SSL Inspector solves this problem for us because SSL Inspector acts as a middleman that observes or decrypts encrypted traffic, and then we are able to pass it to the same policies that your normal HTTP traffic would go through and give you the same protection that normal HTTP traffic goes through. So you get the whole all-in-all complete coverage for your whole wide range of traffic and data. And in terms of coverage, in terms of platforms, we have the edge security functionality available over a wide range of platforms to cover different use cases. On the lower end, if you have a small branch or a retail or a bank, a small bank kind of a deployment, the 210 and the 210 LTE would be perfect for that. It can support a maximum throughput of up to 20 meg of edge security, and it's perfect for, it's very lightweight and portable, so and easy to use. That would be a very good option for small and retail branches. On the higher end, we have 1100, which supports up to 500 meg of traffic and is perfect for mid to large size branches. For any customers who already have the 410 box and are looking to upgrade to have that security functionality, we have that option as well. But for new customers, this is end of sale, and only 210 and 1100 would be the options that are available. And how do we obtain the license? Currently, SD-WAN is available in 3 editions. The standard edition, which gives you all the path management, routing, and the stateful firewall options. That is our first and the basic edition, and the next edition is the advanced edition. Here you can take advantage of the standard SD-WAN capabilities along with the edge security capabilities that we just spoke about. The third edition is the premium edition, which really combines standard SD-WAN capabilities with WAN optimization capabilities. One thing to note here is that the SD-WAN Advanced Edition and Premium Edition are mutually exclusive. If you have edge security capabilities, at this point we are unable to give you WAN optimization on the same appliance, and vice versa too. We have a really flexible OpEx model to help you easily adopt this new offering. You can purchase the zero capacity hardware, which keeps your cost really low, and then you can purchase the subscription for 1 year or 3-year terms, which also includes access to our cloud orchestrator. And if you are an existing customer and would like to upgrade to advanced edition, you can purchase add-ons that will give you the edge security capabilities on top of your standard edition capabilities. Now, if you think about why should I go for an integrated solutions? Yes, you want to adopt internet breakout, local internet breakout, but what is the need for an integrated security solution? Before we jump into that, Dave, can we take a poll question on adoption of next generation firewall?
Certainly. So I'll go ahead and bring that up for you. So we're going to go ahead and launch a quick poll. Do you have a next-gen firewall, or NGFW, to secure direct internet breakouts? So we're looking for you to choose one of the following. Either yes, you have a cloud-based next-gen firewall, or perhaps you have one that's on-prem and on the edge. Or are you looking for a solution? You could say, no, I'm looking for a solution, or perhaps this doesn't apply to you at all. Maybe you're not in the security trade for your business, or that's just a different role altogether. So it looks like we've got just over a third of you voting. I'll keep the poll open for just a little bit longer to see if we can get a few more answers in. Looks like so far, most of you are continuing your next-gen firewall solutions on-prem, with some of you looking to do that in the cloud. And actually, many of you are not quite sure what you want to do quite yet, which is always an interesting predicament, because at some point, I'm sure we'll all be asked the question in our various professions. All right, so with that, we've just passed 1 minute. We've just about got half of the results in. So I'll go ahead and share out the results from the poll. And yes, the majority of you are looking to use the next-gen firewall on-prem, with the next step looking for kind of maybe you're not sure on what solution is best for you. So you're open and looking for the ideal solution for you, with a few of you just looking for a cloud-based service, which is always interesting for us to be aware of as well. So with that, back to you, Reshma.
Thank you, Dave, and thanks everyone for participating. That really helps us in planning our next steps and the direction for where we want to take the solution, right? In terms of why do you need an integrated solution? So let's say you have you decided to take direct internet breakout, and now your internet traffic is exposed directly to the internet, and you are susceptible and you increase your surface area of threat. To cover that, you end up adding or bolting on a third-party point solution. If you do that, what you end up doing is basically accumulating more hardware, more licenses, more billing cycles, and you have to individually integrate and manage all of these different hardware and appliances, and have additional training and take some time to unify them and bring together all of the branch IT together, right? But if you go for a consolidated solution where you have your networking capabilities and your security capabilities together, you prevent yourself from accumulating a lot of hardware, and you get a single pane of management for your network and operations and your security operations, and a way to unify the policies. All of these can be managed from a single pane of glass, which will reduce the complexity and make it easier for you to install, configure, and manage all of these products at once without having to deal with multiple vendors and multiple interfaces. With that simplicity in managing the hardware and the licensing part, the next simplification is the ability to extend your security across the network. So you get the ability to extend your branch segmentation into the data center and the cloud by carrying the relevant segmentation information to all points of your network, and apply your security policies easily to them. Even if you make certain changes to your network, the security policies can easily adopt based on what you've changed in your network, and you don't have to reconfigure everything to make it a functional unit again. So this simplification is also something that you need to keep in mind when you are thinking about a new solution. The next part is that you get great insight or deep insight into the trends across your network, and you'll be able to understand the security risk that you need to act on. With a unified solution, you not only get a view of the network in real time at the network level, you'll also be able to drill down into a granular site level and understand the trends and understand the security risks, and also get real-time data. So with these in mind, I think it's best to see the solution in action for you to understand the simplicity of the workflows and the easy adoption. So I'll hand it over to Ravi to demonstrate all of that.
All right, so thank you, Reshma. So I'll go ahead and pass the control over to Ravi. Ravi, you've been made presenter. And it looks like we have you on mute. I can see you're off mute, but we cannot hear you yet. Okay, we got you. Gotcha.
Thank you, Deb. Thank you, Akshay and Reshma, for covering the whole lot of security offerings that we have on our Citrix SD-WAN. So myself, Ravi Shankar Pegada, I'm part of SD-WAN Solutions Architect team. Today, I'll be providing a demonstration with respect to our edge security capabilities on Citrix SD-WAN platforms. And this will be available through our Advanced Edition licensing model. So here is the topology that I'll be using for today's demonstration, where I have a data center and a remote office. And both of these sites are being managed through our Citrix SD-WAN orchestrator. And this Citrix SD-WAN orchestrator is the only management platform using which we'll be able to get this Advanced Edition edge security capabilities. So as part of this demonstration, I'll try to enable edge security capabilities on the remote office and have security profile defined with web filtering, intrusion prevention, and anti-malware functionalities enabled. And using this security profile definition, we'll be able to configure the firewall policies. So as most of you or some of you guys might be aware that our Citrix SD-WAN is already having our stateful firewall functionality, using which you'll be able to control and manage the firewall configurations. And we are now using the same existing stateful firewall rules or firewall policy definitions in order to get this edge security capabilities with a few enhancements. So for that, we have introduced a new action called inspect. Once we select the action as inspect while defining the firewall policy, we will be provided with an option to select the security profile where we have defined the edge security capabilities, such as like web filtering, intrusion prevention, all these configurations. So once after defining the firewall policy with the action as inspect and selecting the associated security profile, we are now good with respect to the configuration, and we'll try to send some traffic that matches the firewall policy that I have defined, and we'll see what's going to happen, and we'll also monitor the reports as well. So with that, I'll switch on to my configuration aspect. So as I have mentioned, we'll be able to configure this edge security capabilities only using our SD-WAN orchestrator. So here is my orchestrator dashboard, where I have two sites, one in US and the other one is in India region, where in order to get this edge security capabilities, we need to have the appliance configured with Advanced Edition. So here I have two sites. As we can see, the remote site is the one where I have enabled this edge security capabilities. For enabling this edge security capabilities, we just need to configure this device edition as Advanced Edition. Once we select this device edition as Advanced Edition and activate the configuration, we'll be enabled with edge security subsystem. That's simple. Just by enabling this device edition, we are enabled with the edge security capabilities. And this is applicable for any new deployment as well as the existing customers. If they want to upgrade to the latest versions which are having this edge security capabilities, they can just upgrade the network. And for those sites which are capable of having this Advanced Edition, when I say capable, we support this edge security capabilities only on SD-WAN 1100, 210 and 410 platforms. So for only those platforms, once we select the device model as the supported platforms, then only we'll be getting the device edition as Advanced Edition. And during the upgrade process as well, we can upgrade the network by enabling this Advanced Edition, and we'll be set to go with the edge security capabilities. That's with respect to enabling the edge security functionalities. After that, our next step is to go ahead and configure the security profiles. That is the place where we'll actually configure the web filtering, intrusion prevention, and other security functionalities. For that, we need to go to a global security section. Over here, we have something called security profile. So here, while we can add a new security profile, we can define as many security profiles that an enterprise needs based on their network configuration and segregation. So here in this demonstration, I have a single security profile that is enabled with web filtering, anti-malware, and intrusion prevention. And SSL inspection also will be available over here, which is going to come in a couple of days. So in this security profile, we will be able to enable or disable all these security functionalities by using this toggle. As you can see here, we can enable or disable web filtering by using the toggle available over here. So if you want to block a particular category, we have an option to block a category. We have an option to block a specific website or bypass site, bypass client IPs and all. So in this demonstration, I'm going to block a specific category. Let's see how and what are the configurations that we can do over here. So as you can see over here, we have different security groups, like there are 6 different security groups, and within each security groups, there is a different category as well. Okay, and for this demonstration, I'm going to block social networking category, which is part of this productivity categorization groups. And so I'm going to block social networking category, which means all the websites that are falling into social networking category will be blocked by our web filtering functionality, which means we'll not be able to access sites such as like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. All those sites will not be able to access because those sites will be falling into social networking category. So that's the category that I am blocking. And now I'm also blocking a specific website. So here, this is a specific website. We have an option to block a specific website as well. You can specify the URL over here, and that particular website will be blocked. And here I'm blocking some website by the name geekinterview.com. And here you can see I'm specifying the description as block interview preparation. And similarly, we'll also be able to bypass a site. So what's the use case to bypass a specific site? So we are able to block a specific category by using block categories option over here. Within that blocked category, if we wanted to allow a specific website, then we'll be able to use this bypass sites option in order to bypass a specific site which is part of a category which got blocked by using this block categories option. So in this example, I have blocked social networking category, but within social networking category, I wanted to bypass or allow LinkedIn. LinkedIn is also part of social networking category, but I wanted to allow that. That's the reason why I have configured that part of this bypass sites section. And similarly, we'll be able to bypass client IPs, where we'll be able to specify the client IPs, a specific IP or subnet, we'll be able to specify, and those client IPs or subnets will be bypassed instead of blocking. So there are a few advanced options as part of this web filtering. We'll see what are those options. Coming to HTTPS options, we have options where we'll be able to process HTTPS traffic by SNI field, which means even if we don't have SSL inspection enabled, we'll still be able to process and categorize HTTPS traffic by using the SNI information that's part of the HTTPS stream. And there are a few other options which include, like, we'll be able to process HTTPS traffic by host name. That's part of the server certificate when we don't have the SNI information available. And few other options over here. As we can see, we have safe browsing options, which include, we'll be able to enforce safe search on all the popular search engines, which, for example, like Yahoo, Google, Bing, all these popular search engines will be able to enable safe search. And also we'll be able to restrict YouTube mode, which provides us to intentionally restrict the user experience for the people who are accessing YouTube. And we also have an option to force search through kid-friendly search engines, which means, like, if you're enabling these options, anyone who is trying to access which is not kid-friendly will be blocked from accessing. And this search engine, like kid-friendly search engine, is being powered by Google search engine. And we have few block options. Over here, we can see that block quick protocol. What is this quick protocol? Basically, any traffic that is any internet-based HTTPS traffic, by default, it will be using TCP port 443. But if there is any traffic that is going over UDP port 443 instead of TCP, that will be using this. That's basically called a quick protocol, and it will be mostly used by the Google Chrome browser or Google-based applications. And our web filtering functionality will not be able to categorize the traffic if the traffic is using this quick protocol. So in order to categorize and take actions as per our network requirements, we should be able to block this quick protocol. Once we block quick protocol by using this block quick option, so in that case, the actual browser who is using the quick protocol will fall back to TCP-based communication, in which case our web filtering functionality will be able to identify and categorize the traffic accordingly. And there are some other important options over here. We can see we can define a custom block page for the websites that are blocked by our web filtering. We'll be able to redirect to a specific custom block page that customers can have their own custom block page, which will provide a specific information to their users who are accessing the sites which are blocked by the enterprise admins. So that's with respect to web filtering configuration. And similarly, we have configurations related to intrusion prevention. And here are the predefined intrusion prevention rules. There is global intrusion prevention configuration as well, which I'll be going through in a while. Before that, let's go and see what's there as part of the anti-malware configuration. So here, we can scan the files, scan any of the files that are downloaded through our email or through web browsing as well. So we'll be able to scan the files based on the file types or MIME types. We can use the pre-existing or predefined file types, and we'll be able to use these check boxes in order to enable the scan or disable the scan, which means for those file types which are enabled with scan will be scanned as part of our anti-malware functionality in order to check if there are any virus infected files. And the user or admin will also be provided with an option to define their own file types. Like if any of the file types that they are using is not part of this predefined file type, they will be able to provide it with an option to define their own file types and enable scan option. So that's how they'll be able to get or scan the files that an enterprise is using through enterprise is downloading through an email or through web-based downloads. So, and similarly, we'll be able to scan based on MIME types as well. We have different MIME types, as you can see over here. There are like predefined MIME types. 10 MIME types are predefined, and an admin or an enterprise user can define their own MIME types as well. So that's with respect to anti-malware. And coming to some of the other options over here, we'll be able to enable or disable to scan HTTPS HTTP or FTP based downloads or SMTP based downloads as well. And coming to intrusion prevention configuration, as I have mentioned, we'll be able to define the profiles and associate the rules to a specific site that we wanted to apply. So before that, we first need to define the rules. We have predefined intrusion prevention rules, and we can also define user-defined rules by using this new rule option. Once after defining the rules, we'll be able to go ahead and configure the profile in which we can associate those rules, and each of those rules, whatever we have defined, we can enable or disable based on the requirement. And we'll also be able to associate those rules, whatever we have defined, to a specific site, or we can define and associate globally as well. And if you wanted to, in my example, I have added a specific site. As I have mentioned, I have enabled edge security capability on the remote site. So I have used this remote site in order to have this intrusion prevention enabled. So this is how you'll be able to select a specific site and have this IPS profile enabled. So that's how we'll be able to define the security profile. And that's with respect to firewall security profile definition, where we have enabled all our edge security configurations. Now, our next step is to go ahead and configure firewall policies. For that, we need to go to firewall profiles. And in this example, I have defined a global firewall profile. We can also define site-specific firewall profiles as well. This global firewall profile will be applied to all the sites which are having this edge security capability enabled. So now, in this example, I have defined a firewall policy in order to inspect all the internet-bound traffic. As you can see here, we have different match criteria, filter criteria, which will provide us an option to define filters based on the source zone, destination zone, source IP subnet, destination IP subnet port as well. So if you have different departments belonging to different VLAN segments of an organization, we can configure those particular subnets, VLAN subnets, as part of the source IP, and we'll be able to associate a specific security profile that we wanted to allocate to them. And as in this case, I have mentioned that I am trying to inspect all the internet-bound traffic from any of the source that is sitting behind my SD-WAN branch appliance. So once after defining the match criteria, our next step is to go ahead and select the action. As you can see here, we have different actions, like we have already pre-existing stateful firewall functionality, which has all these actions like allow, drop, reject, count and continue. These are the existing options that are available for us. And now this inspect, this is the new option that is available for us to get this edge security capabilities. Once we select the action as inspect, we'll be provided with an option to select the security profile that we have defined. We can define multiple security profiles. As I have only one security profile, we are seeing that particular security profile over here. So once we select the action as inspect and select the associated, select the profile that we want to associate, and we are done with firewall policy definition. With this, what we are trying to say is any traffic that is matching this filter criteria will be inspected as per the security profile definition by our edge security subsystem. That's the overall thing that we are trying to say as part of this firewall policy definition. So with that, we are done with the configuration, and now let's go ahead and send some traffic. Before that, let's see what are the reports that we are having. So in this global reports section, we have security, in which we'll be able to see all the reports related to web filtering, anti-malware, intrusion prevention, and SSL inspection also will be available in a while. As you can see here, we'll be able to see the total number of requests processed, the percentage allowed, flagged, and blocked. See, we can select the time range starting from 5 minutes to last 1 month. If you see here, if I select last 1 month, we'll be able to see the total number of web requests processed, allowed, flagged, and blocked as well. And here we'll be able to see the top web events, where we'll be able to see the top 10 sites and top 10 security profiles. And we can drill down into each and every site and see what is happening within that particular site, which means like what is the total number of requests allowed, flagged, and blocked as well. And if we further drill down, we'll be able to see all the web events, and we'll be able to see the top sites, access, top categories, all those stuff as well. You can see here, we'll be able to see the top web events within this particular page itself for the site that we have selected. And once we select the part of the pie chart over here, the portion of the pie chart, I have selected the blocked portion of the pie chart, which will provide us the top 10 blocked clients, top 10 URLs, and top 10 categories, which is like top 10 blocked categories and top 10 blocked URLs. If we select the allowed portion of the pie chart, we'll be provided with information related to the top 10 allowed URLs, allowed categories, and top 10 allowed clients as well. So that's with respect to the reporting. Now, let me try to send some traffic and happen. For that, I'll just select last 5 minutes so that we'll be able to see the data. So here is my Windows machine, which is sitting behind my SD-WAN remote branch office. So just to recap our configuration, I have configured a security profile with web filtering, where we have blocked social networking. So which means we should not be able to access facebook.com and kind of websites. So Facebook, we are not able to access. And let's try to access LinkedIn, which is part of social networking. Sorry. We can see that we are able to access LinkedIn, even though it is part of social networking. This is because we have configured LinkedIn a part of the bypass sites while defining the security profile in web filtering. That is the reason why we are able to access LinkedIn, even though it is part of the blocked social networking category. And let's try to access a site which we have blocked, geekinterview.com. So this is blocked, and that particular website is being redirected to the block page. Yeah, you might be having a doubt why this Facebook, which is blocked, is not redirected towards the block page. This is because Facebook, it's HTTPS based traffic, and since currently we don't have SSL inspection enabled, we're not able to redirect that to HTTPS based block page. And this geekinterview.com, it's only HTTP based website. That's the reason why we are able to redirect that. And you can see that this description I have provided while defining the security profile to block this website, block interview preparation. So I have fetched the description from the profile and tried to provide this information to the user who is trying to access this. Similarly, admins or enterprises can have their own custom information that they wanted to provide to the users who are trying to access the sites that are blocked by our edge security functionality. So that's with respect to web filtering. And similarly, let's try to demonstrate anti-malware functionality. For that, I'll try to download a file which is virus infected. Like this icar.com will be providing us, in general, they'll be providing us with a virus infected file for the purpose of testing. I'll try to download icar.com file through this Citrix SD-WAN remote office. So I'm trying to download this particular file, and we should see that, okay, this has been blocked, and I'm redirecting this to a block IP address, because instead of downloading that, I'm just redirecting that to a block IP so that this particular file will not be sent across the network. That's the reason why this has been redirected. So as we can see, we are able to block this using our anti-malware functionality, this has been blocked. We'll see that as part of the reports as well. So now, to simulate intrusion prevention, I'll try to perform a DOS attack, which by simulating a SYN flood. So I'll try to perform HPing and continuously send a SYN packets, TCP SYN packets, so that let's see what's going to happen. So after sending few packets, as you can see here, after sending 4 packets, SD-WAN has identified that to be a DOS attack, and it has blocked all of the remaining traffic or continuous SYN packets that we are trying to send. And these things will be reported in our security reports as well. So as you can see here, for last 5 minutes, since if you see, we have tried to access Facebook, which is blocked. We have tried to access geekinterview.com, which is blocked. And this information will be showcased over here with the percentage blocked allowed as well. And we can see into the detailed reports as well. So if we click here, we'll be able to see the device logs as well. And within this, if we click on portion of the pie chart that provides us the details about the top 10 blocked requests, which include top 10 clients URLs, we'll see that, okay, we have tried to access Facebook, which is blocked. We have tried to access geekinterview.com, that is blocked. So we can see the blocked counters getting incremented for those two. And similarly, we'll be able to see the social networking category, which we have blocked, for which the counters got incremented. So that's the reporting with respect to web filtering based on the traffic that we have sent. And similarly, we'll be able to see that file that we have downloaded, the icar.com file, whatever we have downloaded got blocked by our anti-malware functionality. That's the reason why we are seeing here the one that we have downloaded, which is virus infected, is being reported over here. For last 5 minutes, we have downloaded icar.com file. That's the reason why it is showing that one of the file got virus infected. We can see that by drilling down into the detailed reports of that particular site as well. And similar to web filtering, within this anti-malware also, we'll be able to see the scanned events. All the detailed scanned events can be seen over here within this page itself. And by clicking on a specific portion of the pie chart, we'll be able to see top 10 infected events, which is like you can see here. I have tried to download icar virus infected file from this host machine. Like this is the server from which I have tried to download. So from this server, it has scanned like 3 files, and those files got infected. Like whatever infected files can be seen over here. And we'll also be able to see the virus names as well. So this is the icar test file that I have downloaded. That's the reason why it is showing over here. And similarly, we'll be able to see intrusion prevention reports, which will provide the details about total number of intrusion events, number of events logged and blocked information as well. Similar to those web filtering and anti-malware, we'll be able to see the details by drilling down into that particular site. So yeah, that's with respect to the demonstration. Thank you. You can take up any questions.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Ravi, for that great presentation. There is a couple questions I'd like to see if I could run them by you before we close things out. So with that, a big question, I think it'd be very interesting for the audience to know, is there a minimum release that's needed on the SE appliance to take advantage of just using what you showed today with the SD-WAN orchestrator in the cloud? And then a follow-on message to that or question to that is, what level of customization is available for user alerts? So say a request is blocked, can an organization customize the message or the detail that is displayed to the user?
Okay, coming to the first question, coming to the first question, we'll be able to get this edge security capabilities starting our 11.2 release. Any existing customer, if there are any other older releases, it can be either 10.0 or 11x, any of them can upgrade to 11.2 using our Citrix SD-WAN orchestrator, and they'll be able to get this edge security capabilities. And coming to customization of the alerts, for now, we have alerts and predefined log information that will be available as part of our advanced firewall.log file. And we can have a syslog alerts also can be defined, syslog and email alerts as well. But customization of these alerts, we don't have for now.
Fantastic. Thanks so much. That was a wonderful demo. That was very interactive. I love that you ran the traffic patterns live and showed us the live results. So can't ask for any more than that. That was a fantastic demo. Thanks so much, Ravi, and the rest of the team for sharing with us all the new features today. So thanks so much, Ravi. All right, so that brings us to
thank you, Dave.
Thank you. So this brings us now to the closing section of the webinar where we have our prize giveaway, and I'll talk a little bit about what's coming up around the corner. So first off, happy holidays, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to join us today. And if you are wondering about when our next networking masterclass will be, we're actually going to take the month of January off, and we look forward to having you rejoin us in February. And the topic for that is still in the progress. So if you have anything on your mind that you'd like to see us covered, we invite you to provide some of your choice picks topics. You can go ahead and put that in the question panel, or you can email us at networkingmasterclass@citrix.com. Another question that came up today is, when will this presentation be available? Because it was so good. What's awesome is that the presentation will be out shortly. Generally, it takes a few days for us to do the editing, processing, and then get that out to you. So look for an email from the Networking Masterclass over the next several days. And within that, there'll be a link to check out the recording. If for some reason you are unable to get the email or you don't see it come out within a week, you're always welcome to go to the citrix.com webinars location. And where you go to register for the Networking Masterclass, if you scroll down, you'll find that there is a list to links to all of our previous webinars on demand. So if for some reason you don't get the email, you can always go to our registration page, and toward the bottom of the page, you'll find a link to the webinar, including the one from today when it's available. And finally, a lot of the video, even the demos that we do in these webinars, are edited and then posted onto YouTube at the Citrix TV networking playlist. So I invite you to go over to YouTube, search for Citrix TV, the account. And then if you're real familiar with the interface, you can drill down under the networking playlist, where you'll find all sorts of demos from the Networking Masterclass and beyond, as it pertains to the ADC product, the SD-WAN product, all of the technical demos that you see from like things that Ravi did for us today are available on YouTube. So if there's some bite-sized content that you'd like, or perhaps you'd like to focus on in detail, I invite you to check out our specific playlist on YouTube. All right, so that brings us to the fun part where we get to say thank you for participating today. And for now, I'd like to ask a question from some of the content today. And the way this works is the first person to put the answer into the question panel will win the swag today. And so I've thought about a question from the content today. I was wondering whether to do it in the beginning or from the end, and I have since decided to go, let's see if we can stretch your memories just a little bit, because I found the feature so fascinating. So with that, the way this works, get ready. If you are eligible to win, we will follow up with you after to get your shipping information for the prize today. So the question for today is, using the Citrix ADM with ADC, you can now see an app's blank utilization level. And what I'm looking for is what type of utilization? Is it perhaps throughput, packets? Is it bandwidth, or is it CPU? And it looks like we've actually, you guys are so quick with the answers. Joe K, you are eligible to win the prize and we will follow up with you. So congrats to Joe K for winning today. If you're curious what the answer is, it is CPU level. This is groundbreaking. I've always looked at the dashboard and wondered which of my vServers is using the most utilization because they're not all the same. And so this fantastic feature, which combines visibility and monitoring of ADM with the ADC, you're now able to break down that utilization of the ADC appliance so that you can find out which application, not just the vServer itself, which we also provide, but which app on that vServer is actually consuming the most usage of your device, allowing you to even better pinpoint challenges and throughput within your systems. So with that, I invite you, thank you so much for participating today and for playing with the prize giveaway. And if for some reason you stick around and complete the post-webinar survey, you are again eligible to win even more Citrix swag. And so we will be selecting 2 people that complete the webinar survey after the webinar ends today at random, and we'll be following up with you to give you more Citrix swag like we offered in the prize giveaway today, just as a thank you. So thanks so much, everyone, for joining us, and happy holidays. And with that, yeah, that's it. That brings us to the end of a fantastic networking masterclass. And now it only remains to thank the great crew of presenters. Thanks to everyone for your time and for sharing the content with us today, and including the live demo. And of course, thank you so much to our audience for sticking around and making this so much fun and interactive with your questions. I'm Dave, and until next time in February, hope you have a great holiday season, and we look forward to seeing you back in 2021. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.